This episode of iFanboy is brought to you by GoDaddy and Squarespace. To another episode of iFanboy. My name is Ron.
I'm Conor.
And we're here in San Francisco. Why are we here?
It's the second big con show of the year. It's WonderCon. We're excited. You can tell I'm already not even tired.
It's one of our favorite shows of the year. There's a ton of great creators here, a ton of great things to see, packed with parties. We're going to be at the Isotope this weekend.
And there might even be a cameo from one of our writers. He might be wandering around. You never know.
You never know what's going to happen on this episode. It gets crazy in San Francisco.
Hopefully no celebrities will come busting in.
Yeah, that was odd. That was fun. But anyway, so enjoy the show.
I'm here with Greg Rucka. Greg, how are you?
I'm doing well.
Nice, quiet, uneventful weekend at the con for you.
Yeah, actually, nothing happened. There was really no
Nothing
news.
of note? Nothing?
No. Well, you know, Easter.
Easter happened. There was sales of con. Oh, you had some news. Some news had.
Did I?
You made an announcement.
Did I?
Yeah, you did.
What announcement would that have been?
Well, you're going back off on your own. You're going rogue again.
Yes, I'm going rogue. I'm going solo. I finished. Turned in my last DC script on Thursday, and I think for the time being I am going to wander the wilderness of comics on my own with a machete chopping down the high grass. Yes.
It's exciting though, right?
Yeah, I mean it's exciting, it's terrifying, but it's good. You know, I mean there's stuff that's still going on. You have Stumptown. There are easily a half dozen other projects that I've been waiting to get to, and that I hopefully will be getting to now.
Do you know the next question I'm going to ask?
No.
Does this mean more Queen and Country in the future?
The new novel comes out October 26th. It's called The Last Run. You can pre-order it now. And it is it is Tara's last job in the field.
Right.
That book sets up the status quo for a potential Queen and Country Series 2. If there is going to be a Queen and Country Series 2, it won't debut until 2011. I have been talking to James Lucas here at Oni about ways to do it. If we want to do it as another ongoing, maybe do it as a series of OGNs. I do want to do it. I love the characters and I love the world. And I don't want to give away the book, but the status quo does change. So I've got something set up. I have a place to go. The stories are already there. There is a hitch. The hitch is a lovely redhead from down under named Nicola Scott, who has more talent in her pinky than most artists have in their whole body.
She's fantastic.
She is amazing. And I knew that before we actually got to do Blackest Night Wonder Woman together.
You guys did great on that together.
Well, she had exacted a promise from me like 2 years ago saying, if you go back to Queen and Country, you know, I'll draw the first arc. And I was like, great, you'll draw the first arc. And then she signed an exclusive with DC. So that means she can't draw the first arc. I'm not sure when her exclusive is up, and I feel a certain commitment to her to give her, you know, that arc. Yeah. So I'm hoping things will pan out.
Nicole Scott draw the first arc?
I don't know. Maybe Nick. Scott Nick. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. But we'll see.
We've talked to you in the past, and you said you have all these stories in your head that your head's bursting, and now you can finally get them out. It must feel really good. You know, you can wake up in the morning and say, "These are the stories I want to tell," and I can finally start. The wheels rolling.
This is going to sound kind of awful, I suppose. It literally was. I sort of made the decision, and the next day, and I had made the decision intellectually, and then sort of emotionally had reached the point where I was like, you know, once this is done, I'm going to walk away from DC for, however long I need to walk away. And I'm going to try to get back to these other stories. And literally the next day I woke up and all of a sudden I was sitting down and doing the morning emails, and it was like 8 ideas. All the stuff that I had in holding kind of said, okay, now, us, now. So, I've actually spent the better part of the last month doing research on one of the projects. I've been trying to convince another artist to do another one of these projects with me. I talked to another artist yesterday for the first time in quite a while about this third project, and he was like, yes, I'm there. And so, it makes it seem like the situation at DC was a bad one, and that's
not at all.
And I don't want people to think that, because I've seen speculation, and
but you have stories you can tell that you can't tell at DC that you don't
absolutely
know.
I said at the Spotlight panel, I do whiteout. If I'm gonna, Carrie gets frostbite and has to lose 2 fingers, that's my decision. I can do that. I can't give Batman frostbite and have him lose 2 fingers. I just can't do it. And
he wouldn't get frostbite. He'd have a plan to not get frostbite.
Well, or the gloves would be super insulated, or And that's exactly it. It's just I can tell different stories, at Oni or wherever else than I can, with corporate-owned characters. And I love those characters. I love Batman. I would happily write Batman again at some point, but I can't do it now.
Well, I think it's exciting. I think we all like your creator-owned stuff. We love Stumptown. We love Queen and Country. So for us, the idea that you're now going to flood the market with some new, oversaturate the market with some new Greg Rucka stuff is exciting.
It's a question. I don't think there will be an immediate gush of anything. I think it's going to be a while, but hopefully by the time
a drop comes out.
Yeah, I mean, Matthew and I are finishing up the first arc of Stumptown, and then he's going to, cool for a couple months, get the next arc drawn. And then, we'll be starting up again with issue 5. I suspect 5 will ship probably September. And the goal with Stumptown has always been we do 4-issue cases. Right. And it's an ongoing serial, but in, 4-issue chunks. I have had Steve Lieber waiting for like 18 months on the rest of Whiteout Night. So I think maybe I owe it to him to finish it. If nothing, and I kind of want to surprise him. This is me giving it away, Steve. But I kind of want to write the scripts and not tell him and then be able to go, thump, there you go.
Get the drawing.
Exactly. Well, no, because he's crazy busy. Yeah. But at least he'll have them,
right.
And then there are other things. So
it's very cool. We're looking forward to seeing all of it.
I will make sure you are informed when it arrives.
Well, thanks, Greg.
I'm here with one of the many men of action, Steve Siegel. How you doing, sir?
You don't know what the plural is or the singular.
I don't. I started saying it. I realized I don't know how to do it. Is it men of action?
It's just the 4 of us equal 1 man worth of action.
Oh, okay. So which part are you?
I'm the
Oh, okay, fair enough. I was going for the leg. Or
all right, that's good.
So some exciting news here at the con around one of your former Vertigo books making a move. What's the story?
The Crusades, former Vertigo series.
Yep.
Kelly Jones, the artist on that, and I have been asking DC many years to give it back to us so we could do the grand treatment we always wanted to do for it, and they finally said yes this year. So
wow. So how did that, the idea, because creator-owned books, come to Image and they move from other publishers, but coming from DC Warner Brothers to Image?
Not very common on that front. I have not had much luck myself. I don't know. I think I hit Karen Berger and Shelley Bond and Paul Levitz on the right day.
Yeah.
After 3 different years of not hitting them on the right day.
Well, so sometimes you just got to get in the game, right?
Exactly. So we're doing 2 oversized hardcovers called Night and Day, but Day is DEI. Okay. Figure that one out yourself. And it'll roughly take half the series in one book, half in the other. Second volume will have some extras. Cool. First volume's got too much story to have extras. New design and remastered files and some color fixes, so it should be pretty.
That's very cool, very cool. And do you have any idea when people can see that? It's going to be a while, probably?
It's actually already done because my crazy collaborator on Soul Kiss, Marco Cinello, I said, hey, are you the kind of guy who could fix these digital files? And within like 15 minutes, he's like, okay, I'm finished, now what?
Wow.
So it's ready, and I think it'll be out before San Diego, probably.
Oh, that's great. Well, congratulations. Awesome.
Thanks.
So people should look out for that.
Maybe we should solicit it first. I don't know.
That'd be a good idea, maybe. Yeah. So cool, excellent. So in addition to that, you've got a kids book coming up?
Also with Marco Cinello, Frankie Stein. It was supposed to be an IDW book long ago.
Yeah.
And then IDW was like, oh, we can't sell a kids book. And I said, okay. So they withdrew it, and then they started a kids book line and didn't call me back.
Ironic.
Should I take that personally? I don't know. So now that we're at Image, I'm like, hey, we can do this ourselves.
Yeah.
But
Then we looked at it and thought we could do better. So we started over, scrapped it,
Cool.
and it's a totally new beast, and it's pretty.
Yeah, and Image has been doing more and more kids books. I mean, I know one of your compatriots has a kids book. Joe Kelly had that great book, and is.
By the way, I proofread that book for Joe Kelly, and I did not get a thanks in print.
Yeah.
Just saying.
A little bit of a strife in the organization.
Always, we are nothing but strife.
Yeah.
Especially Joe Casey, who's standing behind the camera.
Of course, Joe Casey finds a way to interrupt the interview.
He always does this. Give me some glasses.
Yeah. So and a lot of people know you guys are the creators of Ben 10, which is a successful cartoon, and that's so the kids market is something. It's great to see you guys focusing on it because kind of kids are a not very targeted group anymore in comics for some reason.
Yeah, no, it's very cool. I love coming to these. I actually don't do cons, but lately we've been doing a lot to promote the Man of Action line at Image and the Ben 10, and it's great because it's like a parade of kids. I used to not even see kids at Comic Cons, and now it's like kid, and I'm like, who's your favorite alien? They know all the aliens in Ben 10.
Yeah.
That's been just really cool. And now we have a new show, Generator Rex, coming on April 23rd. Watch.
Wow.
And kids already know about it. It's like, I don't even know stuff that kids know about that show.
That's cool.
Like,
That's very cool.
Find that out.
Well, the internet, probably.
Exactly.
Yeah. So cool. And then also here at Image, Soul Kiss hardcover came out. We're happy with the. It's a pretty book. It's very.
I gotta say, with much love to everybody I've ever worked for, Soul Kiss was the first book where I got to call all the shots the way I wanted with Marco, and it looked exactly like I had in mind for the first time ever. And it was just, I think it's a beautiful book. Marco's a great artist. I can't speak for the script. Who knows? But it really turned out well, I think.
Cool. Excellent. Awesome. Well, so anything else you got coming up? Or
Yeah, I'm still not announcing that I'm doing a book with Mike Allred. It was in 2010, but then he took on that iVampire, so maybe 2011.
Right. So we're not going to announce that. So
we're still not announcing that. But Imperial, my superhero book with Image, the first issue is done. No solicits till they're all done. So probably by November, December of this year with Mark Dos Santos. And it's a superhero book like I would long to do, which means almost no superheroics and everything falls apart.
Yeah, well, that sounds like it'll be a fun time.
Should be good.
How many issues got going to be?
It's 120 pages. I don't even know how I'm putting it out yet.
Oh, okay.
I just like to get stuff done and then look at it.
That's a good approach.
Yeah.
So, well, excellent. All right, Steve, we'll have a great show. Thanks for
iFanboy!
I want to give a big thanks to GoDaddy for sponsoring this WonderCon episode. GoDaddy is the premier web hosting provider with 99% uptime, 24/7 support, and no annual commitment.
You can go to revision3.com/GoDaddy for all of our deals and codes, just like FAN8, which is the coupon code you put in to get 10% off your entire order.
Yep. So get all your web hosting needs at GoDaddy, revision3.com/GoDaddy. Thanks again. And I'm here with James Robinson. How you doing, sir?
Hello, great to be here.
Yeah.
WonderCon, wonderful convention.
Yeah, and close to home too. You just got to roll down the hill and come to the Moscone, right?
I relocated to San Francisco. I love this city, and this is now the home convention for me. So I'm very happy to be here.
Excellent. Well, thanks for giving us some time. So your time at Superman's, War of Superman's coming to a close. How does it?
War of Superman hasn't started yet.
Well, right.
It starts with the Zero issue, which is the free comic book day giveaway book. And then 4 issues of the War of the Supermen that will culminate pretty much everything that I've been doing for the last 2 years on Superman before JMS takes over the book with 700. My last Superman story will be a story in 700 that's the very end of the culmination of everything with Superman and being with Lois again and all of that.
Sure.
And then at the same time I've been doing Justice League for a while, but really now it's coming together with the right team and the right direction, which 43 sort of saw this beginnings of a strange grouping of characters that will evolve into the team that we will see for the foreseeable future, with some really great stories and really big Justice League style stories that I think everyone's going to love.
Cool. So the whole Superman experience has been an interesting one, both in terms of the people working on it, as well as the unconventional nature of the story. With the new.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So what has that experience been like? I mean, has in that collaborative team, but as well as the stories themselves.
Well, it was fun to collaborate and to I was working apart from obviously the editors and with the artists, but like very closely working first with Jeff Johns and then with Sterling Gates and Greg Rucka.
Yeah.
So that was a great experience. It's strange that ultimately I'm the guy that sort of will be known as who wrote 2 years worth of Superman, and really only wrote for a very short period of time did he actually write Superman. Yeah. So I wrote The Adventures of Mon-El, but it sort of makes me stand apart, and I've always sort of taken a slightly strange direction in terms of comics. So it's one more time I've done that.
Yeah, cool, excellent. So, and you mentioned Justice League of America. Cry for Justice came to an end with some shocking endings, and launched a lot of status quo changes for Green Arrow.
Which I will be writing, but still, I believe that J.T. Crowell's work on Green Arrow upcoming will be stuff that everyone will be a fan of. I know I destroyed Star City, but the reason for that was to make Star City, the Star City that is reborn, will be one of the most distinctive, unique, and interesting cities in the DC universe.
Excellent, cool. So, and the fan reaction to that has been quite interesting.
well, there are people that don't like change and feel that I'm a very mean-spirited writer that it seems to enjoy killing and maiming and hurting characters. I saw one guy writing about how James Robinson clearly has a list of death.
Do you have such a list?
Well, I'm just cackling and going, next to die is Metamorpho, haha. No, I don't. In fact, you'll see in the Justice League that I'm sort of done with that. I just want to tell really good, compelling stories, and no more maiming, no more killing of young orphans.
Nice. So with Blackest Night kind of coming to an end, and kind of that whole banner being over, and now Justice League, what can we look forward to for the rest of the year in Justice League?
Well, Justice League... Justice League. That's my...
The love at DC is just it's all over the place.
Life right there. We're going to be doing Brightest Day. Obviously, it's just about to start. One of the Brightest Day resurrected characters will be joining the Justice League. Cool. And then Supergirl will be joining the Justice League in 45. This has all been solicited, so I can reveal this. We're then going to be going into a 5-part. Three parts in the Justice League, 2 parts in Justice Society, crossover with dealing with various aspects of Alan Scott and the Starheart, and also helping to further define this new Justice League team that I'm developing. Cool. Then with issue 49, by the way, is the issue that I think it's an issue that you'll see is one of the most fun stories I've ever written. And you'll see that I'm actually not the worst guy in comics. When you see the
no one thinks that, James.
When you see the reveal at the end of that issue, you will say, "Oh, maybe." And it was a reveal I always planned. Yeah. Maybe he's not so bad. Yeah. And then 50 starts another big issue that will tie in with the reveal at the end of 43, which was the multiverse. How that all plays out. Cool. So lots of stuff, and then Eddie Berganza, the editor of Justice League, and myself have got all these plans, one story after another that will be big and exciting and encompass the whole DC universe and make people love that book.
Very cool, very cool. And I saw some art from that JSA crossover, the cover art. It looks very sexy.
Yes, it does. It shouldn't have been shown quite as early as it was, but it was. It is. It's a 5-part cover that Mark Bagley has drawn. It's inked by Jesus Marino, who is normally the artist on the Justice Society, and it's beautifully done. It's beautifully coloured, and I think maybe in the next dissertation you'll get to see the entire thing
colored
and everything.
So when we last talked, we did a quick little interview, and we talked about Starman, and we talked about you said how you'd love to revisit the Shade character. Yes. Has any developments on that?
Yes, we sort of unofficially announced it. There was the response to that issue was really overwhelmingly positive. It made me think about it. And DC said, "Would I do the Shade?" And because there were so many questions at the Seattle convention, we sort of unofficially revealed that I'm developing a Shade series, 12 parts, which will be probably officially announced I would imagine at San Diego with some artwork. Yeah. And it's going to be, I'm going to sort of borrow from the template that Grant Morrison has been doing with Batman and Robin, which will be three 3-part arcs. This is how I'm changing it. 3 3-part arcs, separate stories. In between will be three times pasts. All these stories together will come together into one big overriding story in the way that clearly Batman and Robin is becoming a big epic overriding story. But the plus of that is with these 3-issue arcs and with these times pasts, we can get some big artists to do to commit to 1 issue or to 3 issues.
Right.
So I'm very optimistic. Not only will the story be good, the story that I'm putting together it will have Opal City in it, but it will also have Shade interacting in the world and interacting with some of the heroes of the world in terms of DC Universe.
Yep.
But in the way that everything is viewed slightly askew with the Shade. It'll be an interesting way that I'm presenting everybody.
Yeah. Cool, excellent. Well, if the Blackest Night Starman issues any evidence of what's to come, I'm psyched for it. It's gonna be.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, absolutely. So thanks so much, James. We appreciate it. Best of luck with everything.
Thank you very much.
Yep, excellent.
And I love San Francisco.
Hi everybody, it's Mike Romo here with iFanboy.com. How are you doing? I'm here with the man, the legend, Ethan Van Sciver. How are you? Good show?
I'm doing swell, thank you.
So dude, I was thinking about you when we were looking at you, like, what will I ask him? So well, congratulations on The Flash. It was an amazing job.
Thank you very much.
I was thinking, when you get a project like that, there are a lot of artists on the site that we talk to, and there's a lot of people who want to learn how to draw. That's like the dream job. And so like, if I could be an artist, I would be drawing something like The Flash. What was it like? Was it the dream job, or was it a dream for you?
It was the dream job. It was the job that I'd asked for so many years. I used to sit in the back of taxi cabs with Dan DiDio, and he'd see me get in the cab with him and be like, oh God, here comes the Barry Allen conversation again. And I'd say, Dan, if now's the time to bring back Barry Allen, people want him. It'll be great. We can fix The Flash and do all this stuff. Finally, Jeff Johns called me up and said, Ethan, it's a go on Barry Allen and Flash Rebirth if you just commit. And I was like, let's do it.
If you just commit.
If you just commit, I'm committed. Yeah.
So one of the things I liked a lot about The Flash is your sense of kineticism, the energy lines and all that. Tell me about the relationship. Was that something that you wanted to do? So because you kind of redid it. You redid Speed, I think, in the book.
A little bit, yeah. I mean, yeah. The thing to me was to look at, and this is a little thing that I did. I looked at old Chuck Jones Roadrunner cartoons, okay? Because it's not just about speed lines, and sometimes you can elongate characters to make them look like they're moving fast. Have you ever seen a picture of a person running and it's blurry and there's part of them back? Yeah. That stuff all really works very well for Flash. It's exciting, and it's just experiments like that are why I draw comic books. Just some work and some don't work, but it's fun to find out.
And speaking of experiments, like the new costume for the new Flash, tell me about the iterations and how that came about.
Oh dear God, that was trouble. That was probably the most difficult thing I've had to do for DC, because we all wanted to change Wally's costume because Barry was back. He was wearing it in tribute to Barry Allen, according to Crisis. So now that Barry's back, he needs an individual identity, and he needs to be separated from Barry visually. So I tried a bunch of different things. One that was kind of a moderate change, and then one extreme crazy change. That's good. These are all going to be seen in the Flash Rebirth hardcover. You'll be able to see them in the supplemental section.
Great.
And it was great, but the problem was that Flash is Flash, and his costume really needs to look like the Flash. Now, there are various other versions of the Flash that have been around, especially with Wally West and the JLA cartoon, the JLU cartoon, and the Barry Allen TV show and all these things.
Right.
Jeff Johns and I combined elements of all of those things, including Wally's like double-digit lightning bolt instead of 3 notches, and came up with a suit that was familiar but different, Wally West, but still the Flash. And at the end of the day, I think it worked.
It's awesome. Well, thanks for bringing Barry back. I mean, I'm excited he didn't go away after. Like, he's one of my favorite characters. So now you've sort of done the epic book. Like, you've brought back one of the, comics' most beloved characters. Now you're working on something else. How's that transition?
I'm doing the same thing again, but I just can't tell you who it is this time. I sat today with Gail Simone and Jim Lee and Dan DiDio and Jeff Johns, and we all sat in a private room and hashed out the next project. And it's so exciting. It's a lot of stuff that I wanted to do, all kind of combined into one thing. Expect an announcement probably around San Diego, I would think.
That sounds good. And tell me about Cyber Frog. I want to hear about this.
Cyber Frog. What about Cyber Frog?
I don't know anything about it. What's the pitch? Tell me about why I should be excited about it.
Okay, well, Cyber Frog is a 5-foot tall, cybernetic frog who likes to eat fried chicken and who has kind of a silly attitude, a nasty attitude. He's lazy. And it was of the 90s, okay? I don't know if it translates well now. You have to be 13 years old, living in 1994, and be like, I hate grunge, in order to really get Cyber Frog. I'm working on actually bringing him back in a new way now. I'm writing it, maybe going to do a little bit of drawing for Wildstorm, so
That's great. I'm very excited. That's going to be great. Thank you so much for your time. Have a great show. I'm a big fan.
You're welcome.
Thanks for Barry, and have a good show. We'll see you.
Thank you very much. Thanks.
Jonathan Ross, how you doing, sir?
I'm good. It's great to meet you.
Great to meet you as well. So you are immensely popular in the UK, entertainment, chat show host, but now here in America, you are a comic book writer.
Well, I'm trying to be. I guess, we've done well with the first issue. I guess if people come back for issue 2, I'll know we've succeeded.
Exactly.
But this has always been a dream of mine and ambition. You know, I've been a comic fan since I was a kid.
Right.
And I used to buy second-hand books from local stores, like the old vintage Marvel ones, around FF70, Spider-Man 60, that period.
Very cool.
The golden age, you know, of Lee and Romita and Lee and Kirby. And I've been a fan ever since, you know, and I've got this huge comic collection. If you come to the UK, you must come and have a look.
I've heard about your comic room. It's like a legendary comic room.
Well,
right?
I think I put it on Twitter, so if you want to find me on Twitter, it's Wassy with a W at Twitter. Is it at Wassy? At Wassy. And I've got purpose-built shelving with these kind of like shelf dividers, and I had these guys laser etch out the actual title graphics.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, but it was a stupid idea, because if you look at it from one side, it works. The other side, it's backwards. So I should have just had it printed on.
Yeah.
I'm an idiot.
So the book is called Turf,
Yeah.
and so have you had this idea in your head for a long time?
I've
or-
had this idea for a while. I started writing a bunch of ideas down a couple of years ago, just as a kind of fun thing to do over the summer. Right. And I told my friend Mark Miller, who you've probably heard of.
We've talked to him. Yeah.
And he liked the idea. He said, why don't you just get off your backside and write one? Yeah. You know, so I came up, I sort of honed down on 3 of them. Yep. And then he put me together with Tommy, whose work I loved, on 1985.
I love that.
Yeah, I saw the Wolverine stuff he was doing at the time that's coming up, and a lot of his movie stuff. He was working on designs for the Book of Eli at the time. Yeah. Beautiful, really detailed stuff. Yeah. And he said, I'd love to do something. I've got a period coming up, I could fit a new book in. And I pitched all these 3 ideas to him. And initially he was going to do this slightly wonky superhero idea we had, which I'm glad he didn't, because it was kind of like Kick-Ass but not as good. Right. And then he liked this one. Yep. And I was thrilled. And the image he came up, if I can grab this.
Sure, yeah.
This special edition that we got here, that was the first image he drew and sent me. And I told him, I said, it's kind of like, imagine a George Raft movie with vampires in, and then aliens, and he made it look kind of like George Raft on the bridge, and that's now a scene in book 3 where these vampires hijack they are hiding, and they kind of hijack the police and wipe out the police who are coming to get them. Cool. And they're under the bridge. So that was a kind of great image, and I loved his stuff, and he loved what I was writing, and we, it's been a real collaboration together. We've both done a load of research into the period, the cars, the clothes, the geography of the place, and that's what you see.
And so now that you've been writing a couple issues, how have you learned in the process? You know,
I've learned to write a little bit less. You know, I mean, I wanted it to be denser and more text heavy than your average current kind of decompressed comic book, because I often pick one up I like, and by the time I've got to the till to pay for it, I've read it. Yeah. You know, and I've read all the features and looked at all the artworks.
Backup,
yeah, and some of them, I don't want to name names, but Mark Miller springs to mind. There's a lot of padding in the back there. I bought that. What was that, War Heroes thing?
Yeah.
About 4 pages of story and about 20 pages of sketches. It's like that. You know, come on, Mark. So, although I do love Nemesis, that looks great. So I wanted to be like some of the books I loved years ago, like when Alan Moore was first writing for Warrior magazine, did V for Vendetta and Miracle Man. I'm not comparing this to them. It's, you know, I wouldn't compare myself to Alan Moore. He's the great god of comic book writing. But I wanted to feel like you're really getting to read something. And if you want it to be character-led as much as action-led, you have to write more.
Right.
You know, or else you can't get the voices of the characters. You can't follow. You know, it becomes more just about action and moving the narrative forward than it does about characters. So this is more character-led than that. And I hope people respond to the fact that it's different. But certainly, what I've learned is by book 2 and 3, I'm trusting Tommy more to tell the story visually as well as me verbally, and we're coming together more. So it's a little less dense, although it's still more than your average current comic book.
Sure. So is it cool to see the words that you've written in your story kind of come to life on the page? And
Beyond cool. It's awesome. Well, it's beyond cool seeing Tommy's visualization.
Yeah.
The words are pretty much the same they were on my screen, although we've deliberately gone with a human letterer, the great John Workman.
I saw that. You got Workman. That was
we got
great.
Workman. It was great. And I used to love his artwork back when he used to do stuff for, was it Pacific Comics? He used to do stuff like for Star Reach and those magazines. Great artist as well. But I don't like the kind of computer-generated lettering. It lacks something, you know. It's like, remember in the movie The Fly, when they make Brundle fly, because the machine doesn't understand flesh.
Right.
I don't think computers understand comics. You know, they don't quite do the lettering the right way. You need a human touch. But to see Tommy's pictures and sometimes it was as I imagined it, sometimes it was very different. You know, a lot of the ideas in there, I described the layouts very precisely. Sometimes he goes with that, sometimes he totally throws it away. And they're both great. You know, they're always great where it becomes, and it's just getting better. I mean, I can't wait to see, because some of the ideas, book 1 sets up a lot of storylines.
Sure.
But by book 2 and 3, you're flying with it. And book 3, they go up to Harlem as well. So there's a whole new raft of characters come in, and you see more of the alien stuff. So it kind of really broadens out as the book goes along. And I think there's so much new stuff in each book. Hopefully, people will stick with it.
Yeah. Well, and what I found interesting from the first issue is that you've got multiple genres going on. I mean, you got the kind of gangster thing, you got the vampire thing, you got the science fiction thing.
Well, that was, you know, that's what I love.
Yeah.
You know, there are no superheroes in this, but I love kind of mixing that stuff up. And part of the idea that came to me was I was watching an old gangster movie and it was a car chase at night, and I thought, wouldn't that be cool if there were vampires chasing that car? You know, imagine George Raft or Cagney trying to get away from vampires. That would be just so. And a speakeasy, they're getting in, they're holding out, they can't get in. The vampires are trying to get from outside. That isn't a scene in the book, by the way. Although maybe I should make a note of that.
Write that down.
But I love the idea. And so the first scene I wrote for it was this car, this old. I wanted it to be like an Espanola, which are these beautiful cars from the 20s and 30s, going through the hills just outside of Brooklyn, going down towards Coney Island. And I wanted Coney Island as it was, with freak shows and abandoned in the winter, and vampires trying to get into this car.
Cool.
And that was the scene we just got. That happens in book 2.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah,
Very
it's
cool.
gonna be fun.
So do you have the bug? Do you have the comic book writer bug? Are you going to flesh out all your other ideas?
Man, I've got so many ideas now. I can't wait to get started. I've got a Shield idea, believe it or not.
Really?
That I've told Johnny Jr. about. Johnny Jr. He says he wants to draw it.
That'd be amazing.
I've got a picture of Joe Quesada now, but the thing about it is, it's inspired by Steranko, that period who I was with last weekend, believe it or not, and he's drawn
You
a
got
cover.
I saw that.
He's drawn a cover for Turf. And we've got Mike Kaluta's done one, Johnny Jr.'s doing one, David LaFuente's done one, Josh Ellington, who's in this hall right now, he's done an awesome one.
Dave LaFuente is one of my favorite artists.
He's done an incredible cover. If you go to turf.com, you can see most of these varying covers. But also, we've also got Bernard Chang's done one, who's, you know, some great covers. I mean, we're so blessed. But Johnny Jr. loves the idea, and there's an idea in it. The whole of the last book, it's got one idea in it which I don't think has ever been done in comics before.
Wow, that's no small feat.
I don't think it has.
All right, cool.
I told Steranko about this idea last weekend. He says, I don't think it's ever been done.
Wow.
And it's inspired by something he used to do. So I'm hoping it'll happen for that reason alone.
Well, hopefully they'll see this and that will help you along.
Hopefully so. I'm going to give Joe a call, see what he says.
Excellent, excellent. Well, thank you, Jonathan. Wish you best of luck with your writing career.
Pleasure.
And it's awesome talking to you. So Turf was great. We loved it. So.
Yeah, well, thank you very much indeed.
Thank
Great.
you. Excellent.
Thank you. Take care, guys.
We want to thank Squarespace for sponsoring this episode of iFanboy. Squarespace is a premier publishing tool. If you want to make a blog or a website, you don't have any kind of coding experience and you're worried about it looking good, you can go to Squarespace because they can have point and click, you can drag stuff around. It makes it really easy to make a really high-end looking blog.
Yep, and if you've already got a site like on WordPress or on Blogger, it's never been easy to transfer over your site. They have a new site importer tool that makes it super easy to import all your posts, comments, everything. You can move your site over in a matter of minutes. So check out squarespace.com, sign up for a 14-day free trial, and use coupon code iFanboy when you're doing it. Help us out, help Squarespace out, you won't regret it.
I'm here with Judd Winnick. How are you?
I'm good. I'm very good.
You've got a lot of stuff coming out this year. A really busy year. First of all, let's talk about the Jason Todd miniseries. What's that called?
It is called Red Hood Lost Days.
And you're sort of the Jason Todd guy. I mean, you brought him back. You've got the miniseries. What is it about Jason Todd that it's fun to write?
I like to take the blame. I do. It's been my fault, and I just want to shoulder the burden. No, the truth is, I love Jason Todd. When way back when Jim Lee and Jeff Loeb were doing Hush, and they quasi brought Jason Todd back, and it turned out not to be Jason Todd, but Clayface. I thought, like, great, then maybe I get to do it someday, because I thought it was just a terrific idea. It's a great tortured character. Batman's worst failure come back to haunt him. So I find every opportunity I can to write more about him.
So do you straddle the line between making him too good or too bad, or is it fun to keep him in that middle area?
No, I think I'm very consistent, sort of keeping him right kind of in the middle. I was actually surprised how many fans sort of thought he was cool, because I thought I was kind of writing a somewhat villainous guy who kills people. Yeah, he kills people. He kills bad people mostly, but fans seem to like that kind of.
They like the bad boys.
Yeah. I mean, I think it comes down to that in this day and age, a lot of people are asking the question, why would Batman not cross that line? Mm-hmm. And the Red Hood does cross that line. So.
Now, the other big announcement that happened recently was that you're taking over Power Girl, which has a very strong and devoted fan base. Was that at all pressure? Is there any pressure involved with that?
No, people pretty much, a lot of people hate me. So all I can fall back on is that I'm telling a good story, I think I'm telling it well, and I'm being faithful to the character.
Is it going to build off of what Jimmy and Amanda have done already, or are you going to go in a new direction?
No. Jimmy, Justin, and Amanda have really sort of nailed who the character is. I think they've given her a job, a life, a voice, and a tone for the comic that I definitely want to carry through.
She's a very three-dimensional character in the book, so it's almost more of a life story than a superhero story.
Kind of, yeah. I mean, I think that's one of the things we're going to expand upon is that, who is she when she's not Power Girl? Right. She has a personal life. She has something beyond that when she, takes off the tights. We'd like to see that a little more. I mean, yes, when Amanda's drawing her, she takes off the tights a lot. We probably won't be doing that quite as much, fortunately. But she's a character that's both very funny and a little bit tragic. Yeah. There's almost, to make a comparison to Across the Street, she's kind of a Ben Grimm-like character. Mm-hmm. She has no home whatsoever. She's like a lost child of Krypton, which totally doesn't exist in a different reality anymore. She's like lost her planet 2 times over. And
it's really well. There's no getting that back.
No, it really isn't. I mean, this is the DCU, so she might get it back at some point. You never know.
Press the button and it comes back.
Yeah, there might be another crisis down the road. We never know.
And you're also working on a Justice League miniseries.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
That's insane. I grew up reading Justice League International.
My all-time favorite book.
I know. And, reading Giffen and DeMatteis. And, I don't think as a kid I thought I'd be writing it with Keith Giffen. Yeah. But I am. And
is that weird? I mean, is it ever hit you that you're writing the Justice League with Keith Giffen?
Yeah. I mean, when the credits first came in, I'm like, I see it there. I see it in print. By Keith Giffen and Judd Winnick. It's like, oh my God, we're actually doing this. It's really happening. So it's wild. It's fun. When you get to play with we always say it's fun to play with your heroes, and we usually meant the superheroes. Yeah. But this is one of my writing heroes, and I get to work with him, so it's stunning.
Is there any character to look out for in that series? Anybody we should keep an eye out for? Who's going to be a standout character?
That would be telling. Right. I almost told you, but you got to wait.
I was hoping to slip it in, and you would just.
No, honestly, so much happens in the first issue. It basically sets up the entire run. Okay. There's an inciting incident that happens in the first issue, and I can barely talk about any of it until then.
And finally,
yes,
you're writing the next DC animated film.
Yeah.
And that's cool, right? I mean, I saw the featurette, which I had before the last film, and first of all, I was surprised to see that you have the death of Jason Todd in the film.
Yeah.
I mean, my mouth fell open when I saw it. I didn't think I'd ever seen it animated in my life.
Me either, which is why I pitched it. That's actually how I pitched the movie. I started with that, a description of, basically throwing out everything in Death of the Family except, Jason buying it. Yeah. And it's wonderfully dramatic and terrific, and it's everything it should be. And that starts the movie. That's the first 5 minutes. Yeah. And it's going to be great.
Was it a lot of fun, really rewarding to work on that? I mean, they've all been high-quality films.
Oh, it is wild to see it truly kind of come to life in that way, to have the actors do the voices, to, watch the fight scenes break apart in that way, and to get all the voices that you hear in your head actually are out there and other people speaking them out loud. That's kind of fun.
Congratulations and good luck.
Thank you.
So last time we talked in San Diego, Parker had just come out.
That's right. Yeah.
And 2009 has been heralded as like the year of the graphic novel, and Parker has been held up as one of those examples of why, because so many great graphic novels came out. How's it feel to be included in that grouping of the year of the graphic novel?
This is the kind of thing I got into the business for. I feel a lot more excited about this because, a lot of the work we do is wonderful, but I want to be part of helping to grow the business, and this is a far more exciting place to be. Yeah, and it's true. Over the last few years, we've seen this huge conversion, and I think Mazzucchelli and a couple other guys this year really made the point loud and clear. So it's great.
Yeah, it's been great to see so many just condensed graphic novels as opposed to the issue that are being talked about, and it's continuing into this year. And Parker, the next volume is coming, and the Prelude came here at WonderCon. It's the hottest book. People on Twitter are begging for people to get them copies. How's the reaction been to the Prelude?
So far, so good. How can people argue with you if it's only $2?
Right, it's true. Yeah, and oversized too.
Yeah, it's a pretty fair deal. And so they've been flying off the shelf, so to speak.
And they're going to be made available to retailers, right? I thought I heard that. Yeah, but with different coloring, or.
I think this book, as it stands, will be available to retailers exactly as it is. Okay. This material will appear in the final graphic novel, and the color will be different at that point.
So how's the next graphic novel coming along?
Good. I'm probably 2/3 of the way through it, and everything looks like it's going fine. Yeah. It's kind of more fun, too, because the first story we did, The Hunter, is very much a story of revenge. Yeah. And now the books move on to the heists and the process of actually stealing stuff, which is kind of a lot more fun to get into. So I'm having fun with it. Yeah.
So as you've got one in your back pocket already and work on the next one, is adapting the material getting easier? Are you getting more comfortable with the source material, or?
I think so.
Yeah.
It feels more comfortable to me. It's certainly I won't say it's an effortless job because a lot of work goes into it, but I don't ever feel like it's not natural.
Right.
It's just flowing.
Yeah, that's good. It's a good way to be. So you've been doing some other work besides Parker. Jonah X50 came out. Probably one of the best single issues of last year.
Yeah, well, that's Jimmy and Justin. I mean, they just wrote an incredible script. I mean, it was hard you couldn't have screwed it up.
Right.
It's just a heartbreaking, wonderful story, and I think we were all really happy to see the reaction it got.
Yeah. So are you gonna be doing any more Jonah Hex this year, or?
Well, if they let me,
yeah.
I'd be happy to. I keep telling them I'll do more, but we don't have anything firm yet.
Yeah, all right. And you did the covers to Jimmy and Justin's Last Resort series at IDW, and you've been doing more covers, I noticed recently.
Well, I don't know why. I've never really been given covers at DC. I've been there 10 years, and they just don't look at me like as a guy for covers. So I kind of put the word out to other companies, and. So now, you're going to see my work in places where you wouldn't have normally. I'm doing covers for Murder of King Tut, an IDW miniseries based on the James Patterson novel. Yeah. I just did Kirkman's Invincible, and I don't know. There's 3 or 4 more on their way.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Price Guide cover with Captain America. That was a lot of fun.
So covers kind of touch into a little more of the not only the art but also the design standpoint. Like designing a cover, it's a different approach, I would guess, right?
Yeah, and it's tricky because I know a lot of people, if they're hiring me, they want a certain thing, and I'm always coming into them saying, well, I'd like to try something different. Yeah. And with the covers in particular, if you can find a particular look for each set of covers you do. It helps, give the product's identity, I guess.
Yeah, excellent. Well, this is your return to WonderCon after 2 years ago. Has San Francisco been good to you? We're here at the Winding Down on Sunday.
We always have a great time here, and last night was no exception.
That's for sure.
We had a big party at the Isotope Lounge, a little Jonah Hex party. Yeah. And I've probably been here 7 times now, and it's definitely one of the best shows.
Right.
Just the whole vibe, the town, everything about it is fantastic.
Yeah, excellent. We love it when you're here, so thank you for giving us time again. We really appreciate it.
Hey, and I appreciate you forcing me to drink that horrible thing. I just want to thank you.
Yes. Excellent, Darrell. Well, thank you very much, man.
All right.
All right, cool. Well, that's another con is in the books, WonderCon. We survived.
Great show. We had really fun, despite our haggard appearance and scratchy voices. We had a really fun time with parties and meeting people and talking to creators, meeting fans. Great time.
Yep. So if you have any questions or comments about the show, shoot us an email, contact@ifanboy.com.
You can call our voicemail line at 888-FANBOYS, which is 326-2697. Comments or questions, leave us your name and number.
Yep. And check us out over at ifanboy.com, where you can find our other podcasts, all the writing we got going on there, all comic book fun going on at ifanboy.com. You can also follow us at twitter.com/ifanboy. We're always posted at the cons. If you're attending a con and we're there, it's a good way to catch up with us.
Like Chicago in just 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Only 2 weeks away.
As we crawl to C2E2.
I'm going to go start walking now.
Yeah. Thanks for watching. So, you told me to come prepared.
Bitch. Look, kids.
Don't do this at home.
Don't play these games at home. Don't let your friendships escalate this way. It's not good for anybody.
It gets ugly after a while, doesn't it?
So I hope we're all happy to watch this. This is really the last thing in the world I want to do, and I want you all to know that from the bottom of my heart.
And that's how you do it Darwin Cook style.
Okay.
All right, sir. So, last time we talked in San Diego, Parker had just come out. Oh, looking better, looking better. So, last time we talked in San Diego,